Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday. I started Super Metroid today. Finally. And I say finally because I've been doing the Metroid series for a little bit now. I've played through Metroid 1, I've played through Metroid 2, but I already knew, and it's been very clear from everyone talking in chat and in comments, that folks are really excited for me to play Super. So I got a chance to start Super today, and I just wanted to briefly talk about like my first experiences with this game. The first thing is that it has a map. That's the best feature of Super Metroid. Coming at this game from the perspective of having played the first two, the best feature is the map. Because when I played Metroid 1 and Metroid 2, I used a guide or a map to find my way through things, and that's fine, but it is more fun to explore, and you can do that in Super Metroid because there is a map built in, so you at least have some semblance of where you are going or where you can go. There are still, parts of the map that are secret, and I found some of those secrets when I was playing today. But by and large, like, that's my favorite thing. Like, it's just the fact that I have a map. As far as how Samus moves, it felt very natural. One of the things that's interesting is that the default control scheme for Super Metroid is the A button jumps, X shoots, and then B is run. And on paper, that feels weird, right? Because, and I think most people that have played a lot of games would agree, on a Super Nintendo controller, the B button is generally jump. The Y button is generally shoot. But because I have been playing the other Metroid games already, it hasn't really felt that strange to me. Select is how you change your weapon type from your normal like beam to missiles to super missiles, etc. So like if you're hitting select, that's what jumps through. And a lot of people in chat were saying that they swap that with like the Y button, right? So Y swaps through your stuff. But select actually feels very natural to me because that's what I used for Metroid 1 and Metroid 2, because that's the default control scheme. So I think if you start with Super Metroid, then it might feel super weird to use select to go through your weaponry. But if you're coming at it from the other games where you've used select, it feels completely natural. I haven't really had any problems with that. Like I said, controlling Samus feels very fluid. Definitely some noticeable improvements over the previous two games, because like things are there's just like a little flightiness, a little jankiness in the first game, and then things are getting a little tighter in Metroid 2, but the screen real estate is so small that you can't really like move around as much as you'd like to. And that's basically solved in Super Metroid. You have enough room to see. You can move around. The game is also very beautiful. Like, I think it would be beautiful on its own, like of its own merits, but it's especially beautiful coming at it from the first two games because, the graphical limitations of the NES and especially the graphical limitations of the Game Boy really help make Super Metroid shine so much brighter, amongst the three games in the series so far. The other thing is, I've played Super Metroid before, but only like the first 30 minutes. And, right at the beginning of the game, there's the sequence where you have to escape in a minute, and the screen starts to like rotate because the Super Nintendo could do the Mode 7 movement of, the graphics. And that's just very, very cool. Like, even now, it's cool. The game is 30 years old this year. And It's just not something you see a lot of in older games like that, so it stands out. Like, it's not something that's super interesting from a modern standpoint, but playing an older game, you notice that. You're like, oh, there's not a lot of Super Nintendo games that do that. So when you see that and your platforms are literally changing, that's just really, really neat. So I thought that was cool. There's new abilities. Today I got the ability to run, which was really neat. And then also at the very end of the stream, I discovered something on my own, which was neat. Whereas if you're running and you crouch, you harness the energy, and then if you jump, you like go flying. And I was doing that, and I was like, this is really neat. And then I realized it had been killing me. So it takes your energy to do that. Now I know for next time. I also defeated Kraid. There's 4 bosses in Super Metroid, at least based on what the room with the statues indicates. And I defeated Kraid. Haven't died or anything. Kraid didn't really give me a whole lot of trouble, but it was very, very cool to fight a boss that took up so much of the screen, you know? Like, Kraid is several screens large, and that's just super neat. Like, just these bigger-than-life battles, larger-than-life battles, and especially coming at it from having fought Kraid in the NES version, where, you know, he's just like a little guy. He's the same size as you. It's cool. Everything about Super Metroid feels super. It really does. And I'm really enjoying myself. I'm really enjoying being able to play without having a guide. I have the Super Metroid Player's Guide, but I haven't opened it. And I want to try and avoid opening it as much as I can. And I haven't really gotten, like, super lost or anything. I've been able to find my way. So I'm going to continue to try and just, you know, avoid it if I can and just experience it naturally. Does it mean that I might miss out on some things? I mean, possibly. But maybe if I get closer to the end of the game and I want to, you know, open the player's guide to discover some things that I missed, maybe I'll do that. I don't know. But so far, so good. And it's been very, very fun to see the evolution of this series. I've really, really enjoyed that. I know folks were telling me to play Zero Mission or Samus Returns. I'm so glad I didn't. It's really cool to see how much changes, you know, from game to game, from console to console. And it's going to take me longer than it only took me 2 weeks to beat Metroid 1 and 2. Each of those games took 2 stream sessions. Super Metroid's going to take like 4, maybe 5. I don't know. But so far, I'm really enjoying myself. It's been a lot of fun. And that's it. Thanks for watching. By the time you see this vlog, that video is out on Steven VOD. If you're not subscribed to Steven VOD, do that. That would be great. But I'm going to be posting them over there, and I'm streaming them, as I've done with all of the Metroid games, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, if you'd like to tune in. After Super Metroid, I'm not sure what I'll do, but I don't have to think about that for a few weeks. I might play Fusion. Fusion's the one Metroid game I have finished before. Or I might take a break and work on something that's not Metroid related. I'll decide later. Let's be back tomorrow, shall we?